You're listening to Playcallers. New episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Available to stream across all platforms. Also, be sure to check out the Tiger's Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Available to stream across all platforms.
Hello and welcome to Playcallers episode 16. We are back after that short break that we took last week, and we hope everyone had a great long weekend last week. We are joined today by none other than the head coach of the men's and women's soccer team, Coach Bill Ferguson. Coach, how are you doing on this Sunday evening, and how excited are you for the soccer season to start?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It's been a great day. Spent some time out at the stadium this afternoon, and man, really excited. Both of our sides are rearing and just absolutely ready to go. So we're pumped. We're feeling very confident as we continue kind of our preseason preparations, getting ready for game time.
Yes, sir. I know me and Max are excited to be up in that booth calling some of y'all's games. First off, I want to introduce that I am kind of a soccer casual, so if I say something wrong, please let me know. But what are some of your tactics and key things that you preach all year in the off season at practices and everything? And what do you tell your team that they must do before they get to that game time?
Yeah, so we, we believe there's kind of four aspects of the game and game readiness. There's the physical, so we spend a lot of time with conditioning, strength and conditioning, and fitness. And Coach Andrew Pittman runs our strength and conditioning portion. So we take that very seriously, preparation, being ready to play 80 minutes and to, have high stamina and explosive movement. And then we have our technical. So this is one thing as a coach that I definitely believe in. You got to be technically sound. First touch, your ability to control the ball as well as connect with passes, and then finish opportunities. So the technical portion is an area we put a lot of emphasis on training, small-sided, expanded games. There's always a technical aspect. And then we go to tactical, so that's just your kind of game understanding, match organization, whether that's positioning, formation, really kind of how our approach as a team, how we want to bring the ball into the attacking phase, what we do to recover and transition. And then the last, kind of quadrant is the psychological components. So that's kind of your mindset and mental preparation, doing things to build confidence. We know confidence is the number one variable in human performance. So we have a lot of mindset preparation and program manuals for kids to really focus on their belief in themselves and their ability to show up when it matters most, and that's when that whistle blows.
Yes, sir. And I want to ask another question going off of that. So I don't know like soccer formations that much in positions. Could you explain to the audience like what your favorite formation is and what your game plan is going into, big games like that?
Yeah. So formation is basically the kind of the organization of your team, both offensively, defensively. So you start from the back with the keeper, that'd be the one, and then building forward through the defensive unit. We play a 1-4-3-3. So it'd be four defenders, three midfielders, and three attacking players. That is a very fluid formation. It's what like U.S. national team and a lot of professional teams use because there's flexibility. You can pull back, your front three and have five across the middle if you want to drop two of your central players into what we call the six, or the defensive midfield area. You can play with what's called a double pivot. And so you can kind of adjust in game. So formation is kind of how you start, and then you have a game plan based on who you're playing, where you think the space is going to be. And so while we start in a 4-3-3, if a team is playing with what would be a 1-3-5-2, so three in the back, five across the middle, we really try to try to occupy the space in their back line that we feel like is going to be available and open for us to play those channels. And so in that situation, like the two wide players in the 4-3 would stay high. Whereas if they're in a 5-3-2 or their wingbacks are way back, then we may pull those two wide players more centrally or kind of in the middle attacking area and give us the ability to kind of draw them out and find space, within the channels in between or behind. So, it's a communication tool. It's what you use to describe kind of where we want to be generally, but like every game is different. Every game has its own DNA, and so want to be able to adjust and really find the space regardless of where we start.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And that kind of goes back to the 4 quadrants you were talking about, physical, being a defender, you got to be a little more physical. You got to, step up to the guy coming towards you and everything. And then, the technical and the psychological that you were talking about, everything goes into that. Thank you so much for sharing that, by the way. And then I want to move on to 2 of your players on the women's team. I want to highlight a star player that just signed that Division I offer with the Mercer Bears, Sam Reeds. What makes her such a good asset to a high school team and a college team, and how hard has she worked to attain that offer?
Well, I'll kind of pick up on the last part of your question. Sam has worked as hard as any athlete I've seen. Sam, trains hard, but she does a lot of additional work on her own, whether she's got a kind of a technical coach, Mark Matondo, where she works with him often throughout the year. She's very regimented in her approach, systematic. She has those training sessions. She also plays club soccer at an extremely high level with Alabama Football Club in Birmingham. And she plays ECNL, which is kind of the highest level of club play for youth players, and she is a very essential part to that team. But for us, she brings a wealth of experience. She's been playing for us since she's been a freshman. She scores in big games. I think she scored 90 seconds into the state semifinal last year with the absolute worldie. She plays just strong on both sides of the ball, whether we're in possession offensively or without the ball. She is just an absolute treat to coach. She's a great teammate. She is constantly encouraging, and she's one of the fittest athletes we've ever had. We do fitness standards, and she's always working. It's not that it's easy, but when you see her execute these fitness standards, she almost makes it look easy, which is quite impressive because these are professional level fitness standards that she is doing seemingly with ease, but she's working hard. She's going to be great for us this year. She always is, and she's going to continue to be great. And any side she's on, she will crush it at Mercer.
Yeah, and I mean, Sam Reeds, if you meet her, she's one of the most down-to-earth people ever. She's super nice, and I mean, she's super smart. I had a class with her 2 years ago, and I just remember asking to, kind of copy off of her for all the questions. So congratulations to her. And I want to move on to another star player for the women's team, Scarlett Adams, who just committed to Queens College. Can you talk a bit about her position on the field and the leadership that she brings to this women's team?
Yeah, absolutely. Scarlett, it's so much fun. She's got such a great attitude, and I think she's a great connector. She's always touching base with players, whether they're seniors like herself or some of the younger players. We have 6 freshmen and 1 8th grader on our team, so we have some youth, and she's really good at connecting everybody. As far as her role on the field, she's a wide player. She plays what in soccer we call the 11 position. She's like a left winger. She plays in one of those 3 that are up front. She has great distribution, able to connect her passes with the midfield. She can create chances for herself, but she does a very nice job setting up her teammates. She is a really hard worker. She had an ACL injury last year during a match and has just worked unbelievably hard. And I know she's super excited to be able to come back. She missed the latter part of the season last year, and I know she's super excited to come back and finish stronger senior year. But she as well, due to her work ethic and positive attitude, is going to be a phenomenal player for us, a very important contributor, and she's going to continue to elevate her game this season and her college career as well.
Yes, sir. And I mean, Scarlett's another person just like Sam, super humble, super kind to everyone around them. And I can't wait to see her and Sam both do great things, like you said. And now I want to move to the men's side a little bit because you are the coach of both. I mean, I remember watching this team the past 2 years and just seeing the speed on the wings that you were talking about and at the striker position. And I know last season did not end the way y'all wanted to, but what has happened in the off season? And what players should we watch out for this 2024 season?
Yeah, you bet. We firmly believe that you grow the most when you are challenged, when you are stretched. So we've had challenges. We've been close every year. Last year we went out on penalties away at Dothan, who's a strong side. I think they lost 2 games last year. We felt like we had them on the ropes, and we just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And sometimes it happens. But I'll tell you what, that has made these young guys hungry. They are working hard. I think we had like 95% of our players are passing what we call the Man United fitness test, the same fitness test that Manchester United from England uses. And these guys are absolutely fit. They push each other. They show up. The reason I was at the stadium today is they asked if they could get some extra work in. They just want to play. They love to be around each other. And we're returning a lot of experience. We got 10 seniors on the side, so half of our roster is seniors. So it's going to be guys who have been there, guys who've been in these positions, who know what it takes and know that we've been close, and we're prepared to step across the threshold. I'll say 2 guys that have grown immensely over the course of the last season and are just absolutely working their tails off. Cohen Park, who is a junior who plays in that 11 position as well as a wide player. He can also play centrally at the 10. He's a playmaker, but he creates a lot of opportunities for himself. He's incredibly skilled on the dribble with the ball at his feet, just a natural finisher. And then Matt Bolding, who's also a junior, he has put on some great weight. He's grown a few inches since last season. He's a unit. He's a threat on set pieces. He can cover flag to flag on the field. These guys last week voluntarily ran 3 Man Uniteds in a row. So we when we do some of our fitness portions, we'll run in sections and in waves, and these guys wanted to do 2 additional ones, which is absolutely insane. It is unbelievable that they can do that, and they're finishing first. So they are hungry, they're fit, they want to play, and like I said, we have a lot of great experience coming back. So we've got some tremendous senior leadership, and I think we're going to be a well-balanced team in every phase of the game.
Yeah, and talking about the Man United fitness test, I actually just looked up what it was, and I mean, the fact that many players on your team can attain that and just do that, like you said, is absolutely insane. And I mean, it just shows the work that this team has put into it this offseason, and I can't wait to be up in that booth commentating some of y'all games. Thank you, Coach, and I'm going to send you over to Max.
You bet, right, absolutely, Tim.
How's it going, Coach Ferguson? I'm not gonna try and I'm gonna try and keep it brief a little bit, but I quickly wanted to ask, My sister used to play on the soccer team. She didn't play her senior year, but I just wanted to know if you happened to coach her, Leah
Yeah,
Mesman. Did you happen to coach her
yeah,
possibly?
I know Leah, but I didn't get the opportunity to coach her directly.
Okay.
She was in our program, and kind of I've got right this year we got 9 coaches in our staff, and the way that I see my responsibilities kind of like oversight of all the teams, but I trust our coaches to kind of manage their own teams, coach their own teams. We have a lot of meetings and, and informational exchange, but at the end of the day, these are young coaches that I want to be, responsible and take ownership of their own team. So while I may be on the sideline of some of the junior varsity or junior high teams, I really let them do the coaching because it's their team. But I love watching the game. I love seeing these kids, kind of grow through the ranks of our program and continue to, push the limits. Kind of back to, Taylor was talking about the Man United 3 years ago. 3 kids finished this test. And this year we've got, 95% of the guys, 3 females that are finishing the Man United, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and a lot of kids finishing a really high round. So I love watching these kids grow. They're absolutely tremendous athletes, and we're fortunate to have coaches that have, coached kids like your sister that who've, come through the program, and we hope it's, one of their favorite parts of their high school experience.
Oh yes, sir. She always talks about playing under you and Coach Pittman and that entire staff, and getting to know her teammates and stuff. But I was also going to say, like Taylor, I am, at least currently right now, a bit of a casual. My knowledge extends to her and possibly playing FIFA as well. But looking back at last season for this women's team, first, not only did y'all finish the regular season unbeaten in y'all's area, but y'all went all the way to the state championship where y'all did suffer a tough loss to Sparkman 2-1. I actually watched that game. But looking back on that magical run last year, what are y'all's expectations coming into this season after showing that y'all can make it all the way to that top spot last season?
Yeah, we're not shy. Our expectation is to win the state championship. That is our aim. That is where we plan to be. Like you said, we were close last year. I think we were, a post and a missed breakaway away from bringing the blue map home last year. I was really proud of our girls and our coaching staff for what they did to prepare. I think we were ready and just didn't cross the finish line. So this year, that's our aim. We definitely lost some tremendously talented players last season and some great leadership. But this is kind of how this machine is built. That it's the next player up, and we think that if we do what we're capable of, stay healthy, we think that we should be playing in the state championship and bringing the first blue map for the women's side to Auburn High School.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm excited to see it. I was able to commentate a couple of games last season, and I remember watching players like Taylor said, Sam Reed, Scarlett Adams. I actually remember when Scarlett had her injury, her being on the sideline. That was a tough loss last year, but y'all are able to fight through it and then make it to state. And yeah, like you said, I mean, y'all are hungry, and I'm looking forward to see what y'all do on the women's side. And then on the men's side, looking back at last season, like Taylor said as well, y'all didn't go as far as the state championship, but y'all were still able to beat Enterprise in the first round of the playoffs and then make it to the quarterfinals where, like you said, y'all did lose in penalties to a very good Dothan team. But same question as, the women's team for the men's team. What are the expectations coming into this season for the men's team?
Yeah, same. We expect to play for a state championship. We've been close for several years and have been playing well but we just haven't been able to get back into the big game. On the sideline for the guys side, had the pleasure of coaching, in the Final Four several times and win a state championship with them. So we know what it takes as a coaching staff, and I think this group of guys is as hungry as I've seen. I think they're very focused. They drive each other, and that is a joy as a coach. There is absolutely no hesitation when it comes to them wanting to be on the field. Like, they want additional training. They want it, right? And they're very outspoken about that too. Rings coach, that's what we want. So that's our aim, that's our expectations, and we're going to do everything within our power to make that happen.
Yes, sir. I mean, you talk about this group, like you said earlier to Taylor. I mean, there's a lot of experience on this team, 10 seniors returning. You said basically half the roster. So, I mean, there's reason to be hungry, and I'm excited to see what unfolds. I want to actually harp on that experience a little bit that you've been discussing. How do you think that will play into this team's performance week in and week out, especially when y'all make the postseason?
Yeah, I think if anything, that we are not complacent, right? That we know you can be a great team and play a great brand, but you still got to, keep hunting. And I think any time that we play teams, Auburn High School, and especially Auburn High Soccer, has got a reputation of a history of success, of being, winning the state championship on the guys' side a couple times, and playing for the big game several times. So I think most of the time we're going to get people's best game, and we have a tough schedule, and it's fun to challenge ourselves. But I think if anything, they're not going to be complacent. They're going to use that experience and use some of that pain from last season to shore up areas that we could have, could have been even better. And I tell the guys it's my responsibility to have you ready. So we're going to make sure that, the things that, may have been some factors as far as finishing and just executing, that we're even more clinical this year in those areas.
Yes, sir. And, I want to harp real quickly on this being coming up into this season. Not only is your team experienced, but you're also very experienced as a head coach. This being I believe your 10th season, correct me if I'm wrong, your 10th season as the men's head coach, as well as your 5th season as the women's head coach. What have been some of your favorite moments with this team so far in your career?
Man, obviously, with this specific team or just coaching in general?
Just coaching in general.
Obviously, bringing the state championship back to Auburn High School and representing our city, like, that's a lot of fun. But beyond that, some of my most favorite moments are the relationships built, or, when I get a call from a guy who's getting married, or, is applying for a job and wants a letter of recommendation 4 years later, or is calling me from another country to tell me he's on a cool field, watching a team play. Like, I love the relational aspect. I love seeing these young ladies and young men really become the best versions of themselves, and to develop a hard work ethic, because no matter what you do, you got to make sure that you're challenging yourself and stretching yourself, to get better, to improve. So, I think, winning is fun, and I'm very competitive, so I love it when we can be successful. But some of the best relationships have, or some of the best experiences and moments have not even been when the ball's on the turf.
Yes, sir. I mean, that we've asked, that question to, the past 15 coaches that we have talked to, and a lot of them are, the similar answer. And it's, building those relationships with the team and with, the players you coach, with your staff around you, and just everybody, that you meet throughout the job. And I mean, it's awesome to hear because, you're able to get those. Last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago when we were interviewing the Coach Brandt for the basketball team, for the men's basketball team, he was talking about how he had a player, got to go play overseas, and just that entire relationship and the relationship you have with your players. It's just really special. But thank you, Coach, for sharing that time with me and sharing those answers. Now I'm going to send it back over to Taylor.
You bet.
So I have two more questions, then we'll get you on with your Sunday night. These are more kind of off the field, like we've been talking about. What does the city of Auburn mean to you, and how does your experience with this specific team make you a better person, in every aspect of life, with your family, your professional career? I believe as a psychologist, or isn't that what Max?
Yeah.
Max, isn't that what you said?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean,
Yes,
how
sir.
does your experience with this team develop your experiences with other things away from soccer?
Sure, great question. So Auburn means a ton to me. I grew up. My father was in the Army, retired in the Army, so I moved. Every couple of years as a kid. Auburn is my home. I have lived here longer than I lived anywhere else. I came here for school in 2002 and graduated a few times from Auburn University. Love Auburn. And so to be able to represent a program, a school district that has a lot of pride is an absolute joy. It is something that we get to do. It's not something that we have to do. So that's special. And as far as how coaching helps me in other areas, I think there are a lot of factors that you got to have as a coach. You got to be a communicator. You got to be patient. You got to believe in people, and you got to help them actualize the best version of themselves. And so I think that translates a ton. My kids are I have three, and they're at the games, and sometimes I'll be when it's late training, they'll swing by. My oldest now plays in the program, Ryan Lillian. She's on the junior varsity girls team, and she's crushing it too. It's just fun to have her out there, and so soccer is a big part of our family, and it's hard to kind of tease that apart, whether it's my coaching or them playing. Man, or us playing at home in the yard. It's just a huge part of what we do. So it's kind of a thread that's woven through a lot of our life and our family. And so I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to coach here for a decade, and I'm excited to keep this train rolling.
Yes, sir. And I have one more question, and then we'll get you on with your Sunday night. That was awesome to hear, the way that people just look at the sport and they're like, oh, they do that on the field and then they go on with their lives. I mean, it shows that the sport truly, develops into other things in your life. With your three kids, like you were saying, start playing soccer, your daughter coming up through the program, and she'll have you as a coach one day. It's just super special to hear. And thank you for sharing that. And then my last question is there anything you want to tell the students, fans, and City of Auburn about your team before the season opener, and what can we expect for the very first game coming up?
Yeah, I would love, and coached here for a while, and there was such a great student body support for this program, and there's still bodies in the stands, and we hear them, and we love having them there. I would love for this student body to show up for this team this year. I think they're going to see an explosive side, whether it's the girls or the guys. I think you're going to see a lot of excitement, and I would love, for them to back this team, because I think you're going to get an even better performance from our program when they know that their students or their peers are there supporting them. So if anybody is interested in coming or has a friend, invite them. Like we try to make it fun. We do fan engagement and get people down on the field. So we'd love to see more of that. But as far as, being ready, I have no doubt that our teams will be. And I'm excited. We got some good tests throughout the season, and I think we should expect some fireworks because this team's coming.
Yes, sir. And Max, if you don't have any more questions, we'll go ahead on with the outro and get Coach Ferguson on with the Sunday.
Yeah, I don't have any more questions, but thank you so much, Coach, for coming on. We know you're a very busy guy, with the I actually meant to ask this, so I guess I'll ask it now really quick. But talking about yesterday, the event y'all had with the polar plunge, that with everything going, all the charity going to the Special Olympics and all of that, I wanted to ask real quick, what do doing those things in the community mean to you? How special is that to you and your team?
Man, it means a ton. It's a special group that we get to support, that we get to help raise funds for. I think it's, soccer or any sport is a great tool to prepare you for life. And I think we're better together. And when we can, stand shoulder to shoulder with our neighbor and support them in any way we can, I think we get outside of ourselves a little bit and get into, making a positive impact on, other people's lives in our community. So it's really neat. That event itself it's a ton of fun. I mean, it's quite terrible, honestly, when you hit that water and I think yesterday broke the record for the coldest temp since the polar plunge started 12 years ago. And in fact, my buddy Ryan Molt is the one who started that 12 years ago in his backyard. So to see, it was the largest sign up they've ever had in the history of polar plunge, and the fact that Auburn High Soccer has been a part of that, since the beginning is really neat, and we're just thrilled to be able to take part.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's one of the things that, the polar plunge. I have a couple of friends on both the men's and women's varsity soccer teams, and I'll see them posting, on social media like their polar plunge challenge or the polar plunge event. So that's just an awesome thing you do. But once again, we're very grateful to have you onto this podcast. And now, Taylor, I'll send it over to you for the outro.
Yes, sir. That's going to do it for Playcallers episode 16. Thank you so much, Coach Ferguson, for coming on and giving us some of your knowledge. It's more than a sport, and we see that through every single coach that we interview, but it was very special today. And just thank you so much for coming on, and we hope you have an amazing week, and we can't wait to see what your team does in this coming up season.
Well, guys, thanks for having me. I think what you're doing is really cool, and man, wish you guys success and as you continue this cool venture. But I appreciate the opportunity just to share some time with you, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
Coach.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of Playcallers. Be sure to check out our episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Also be sure to check out our other podcast, The Tiger's Den, where we dive into the world of sports. Be sure to check out those episodes coming out every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Thanks for listening.